So by dividing it into quartiles, you can also say now this is your top 25% of your scores are above 35, because remember your Q2 was 35. Your top 25% of your marks are above 35. Your top half of your marks are above 25. Because it's in quarters, you can look at the top half, the middle half, the lower half. Your lowest 25% of your marks are below 8. Don't look at the 1, look at your Q1, are below 8. So by dividing it into quarters, you've got a good idea of half of my marks lie where, the upper half lie where, the middle half lie where, etc. It gives you a much better explanation of how your marks are spread. Now, all of this we're going to put together in what we call a 5-point summary. A 5-point summary, I'm going to write them next to each other because of our shortage of space. Your minimum value is your first one. Your Q1 is your second value. Your median or Q2 is value 3. Upper quartile. And your fifth value is your maximum. Now what we can do is we can do another kind of graph with this info, and we call this a box and whisker plot. Using your 5-point summary, you can draw a box and whisker plot. And again, I cannot emphasize enough that it has to be drawn to scale. So look at your values going from 0 to 49. Get yourself a good scale. Maybe let every value be 2 millimeters. Whatever, you can choose your scale, but then measure exactly using a ruler. This is my 0. This is my 49. So if I said every one is 2 millimeters, I would put 49 at 98 millimeters. Then I would mark off my 8, which would then be at 16 millimeters. You've got to choose. My 25 and my 35. And I can already see mine is not good enough to scale. Now, this is just your ruler. You just mark off your 5 points. Now, above it, not to touch it, you put down lines, and then the middle 3 you're going to join in a box, and the outer 2 are your whiskers. Okay, I did actually draw this to scale, and I know this between 35 and 49 wasn't really that long, because you've got to now be able to see, wow, 25% of my marks lie there. So because it's a long one, it was spread over a big number of marks from 8 up to 25. But this is also 25% of my marks. So because it's shorter, this third quarter of my marks were quite close together. There were a quarter of my marks were between 25 and 35. So it gives you a very good idea, a very good picture of how your marks are spread. If it is a short distance like this one, then they are close together because it's still a quarter of all your observations lie there. If it's a long distance, then they are spread far apart.